Astrocass here, back with a quick astrology update. This one's the transits for June. Before I quickly jump into it, for those of you who are new and don't know me, I'm Cassie. I enjoy astrology, psychology, health, fitness, pregnancy, parenting, all of those sorts of things. So if you are interested in any of those topics, definitely subscribe so you don't miss anything on my channel. And if you enjoy this video, don't forget to give me a like. It helps me build my channel and know what you're enjoying, and definitely comment and interact with me about how these transits have been playing out for you. This one is for my Capricorn rising, so let's jump into it. Let's first of all talk about the sun. So the sun is our confidence, it's our ego, it's our vitality, it's where people are noticing, that we're shining and doing really well. It's the areas of our life where, we're just very public and shining in those areas. So the sun starts off in your Gemini 6th house, which means that people are noticing how well you're doing in regards to your day-to-day duties and routine. So this could be, anything from your housework or the duties and tasks that you're doing at work. So the actual duties and tasks that you're doing at work. So not the career as such, but, your duties and tasks. You might be getting a promotion or getting positive feedback at work, or possibly you're shining in the areas of your health and fitness, or you're getting some good stuff happening there. Maybe you've got a new gym routine and you're feeling, really confident because your body is starting to look the way that you want, or, you're getting something happening with your nutrition. All of those sorts of things could be adding to your vitality, your confidence, your ego. But yeah, the 6th house is also, it's like pets, it's co-workers, it's our routine, it's our work duties, health and fitness. So any of those things, or all of those things, could be bringing you a good sense of, an ego boost or confidence. It does depend on your natal chart and how it's interacting with your natal planets and the aspects it's making. So if you need a hand with that, definitely reach out. I'll put my information below for you. I do readings and support with that. I do both online readings. I can send stuff via email, via Zoom. If you're in the Australia, Tasmania area, I do some face-to-face astrology readings and stuff like that as well. On the 21st of June, the sun will then start to transit your 7th house. So the 7th house is your close one-on-one relationship. So typically it's the house of marriage and romantic partnerships. So they can definitely be an area of a bit of a confidence boost for you, or bringing you a bit of happiness and, improving your ego. But think as well about our close friendships, your business partnerships. Think about those close one-on-one client relationships you've got, because all of those can also bring us happiness and enjoyment, and boost our ego as well. So it's not just those romantic marriage relationships either, but traditionally it is more so focused on that area. But any close one-on-one relationships with this transit can bring us a bit of confidence and happiness and vitality. So I'm definitely hoping that that's a good transit for you guys, but it depends on your natal chart, obviously. Sometimes nothing really happens with transits if it's not aspecting anything, or, doing a lot. Sometimes a lot of stuff happens if we've got planets in our natal chart in that 7th house. So yeah, definitely check that out. Now let's talk about Mercury. So Mercury is the planet of communication, it's news, it's learning, it's also our thoughts. So Mercury starts off retrograde in your 5th house. So your 5th house is, it's creativity, it's children. So whether they're your children, other people's children, just children in general. It's things like risk-taking, it's dating, it's romance, it's sex and intimacy, especially hookups, one-night stands, or just the starts of dating. That all falls into that house, because the 5th house is usually ruled by Leo and the sun. So it's anything playful, anything that's fun and childlike and free, anything where we're kind of performing and shining. So with Mercury being in that 5th house, we're really reflecting, revisiting and revising. Because of that retrograde, we're revising those topics to see what's working, what's not working, what needs to change. Is there anything from the past that I've started off before that I haven't finished that needs to be finished off now? So any projects or events or things like that. You might have started a creative project and, got halfway through it but didn't finish it. Maybe this retrograde's a great time to plan how you're going to finish that off, or even Retrogrades can be a great time to actually finish off those old projects. Don't start anything new. Retrogrades aren't a good time to start anything brand new, but definitely if you've started something in the past, it needs to be finished. Whether it's an old relationship, and I'm not saying go back to old people, but you know, if you've started dating someone in the past and things just went a bit quiet, this retrograde comes up and, you know, maybe they've popped up, you might want to go on another date with them and see, you know, is there any unfinished business there? Or you may have started a creative project that needs to be finished, or, you know, maybe there's a discussion about children, whether it's your children, other people's children. That can all come up where you need to kind of revisit and finish off those topics. For some people, it might just be, you know, maybe they want to have children, or maybe they've had that discussions with their partner, but it hasn't kind of gone anywhere. So maybe, you know, they're needing to have that chat again. Maybe they want to make a plan for their future. So maybe their partner doesn't want kids yet. Maybe they want them in 2 years or 3 years. So you guys sit down and talk about those things to see if the relationship is where you want it to be, and being on the same page. But retrogrades are a really interesting time. They can bring up a lot of different topics. Mercury will station direct on the 3rd of June. So that's when things will be a little bit easier. These topics will start to clear up a bit more. Retrogrades usually bring confusion and miscommunication and, you know, technology challenges. So definitely be cautious of those things. But after, obviously, the 3rd of June, those things will clear up and move forward a bit more smoothly, especially in regards to that 5th house for you. And then on the 14th of June, Mercury moves into your Gemini 6th house. So again, this is when you're going to be thinking, communicating more about, or even learning some new things. And it's about those 6th house topics. So think pets, co-workers, work duties, so the duties and tasks you actually do. Think about your routine, housework, think about your health and fitness, gym, all those sorts of things. Doctors, they all fall into that 6th house. So when Mercury is going through there, we're thinking about these things a bit more, we're communicating more about these things. You know, maybe there's a lot more emails or talking that needs to be done in your day-to-day work. Maybe there's some big news that happens at work, some big topics, some news that's happening there, contracts or something that need to be signed. Some people might be getting big news from their doctors or medical results, or some people might be getting new like gym programs or emails about things related to their health and fitness, or a gym, or some kind of exercise hobby that they're doing. It can play out quite differently depending on your natal chart for everyone, but those are the kind of topics of things that can pop up. Then we've got the Venus, the planet of love, romance, pleasure, and money. That starts off in your Taurus 5th house. So again, this is just showing that you're really loving and enjoying, you know, creativity, you know, being kind of fun and childlike, and, you know, risk taking in a healthy way, and dating and all those sorts of things. Maybe there could be some new romances happening for people. Maybe some relationships are going to the next level, going from dating to something a bit more serious, maybe to a more solid relationship. All of these sorts of things can happen with that transit. Sometimes you might make money through your creative projects as well, or be spending money on creative projects. You might be making money or spending money through like going out on dates and going out to clubs and partying and having fun and stuff like that as well. Because Venus does rule over money, so you might be spending more money doing these things or making money doing those things. Some people, again, the 5th house can be risk-taking and games and fun. So not that I condone this, and please be very, very careful and mindful, and don't take any of this out of context. But you know, if you play pokies, or you're a gambler, or you put some numbers on Tats Lotto, sometimes with this transit, it depends on other aspects to your other natal planets and stuff. Sometimes those things can pay off. Maybe, you know, you've brought like a raffle ticket or something, and you win that raffle basket, or, you know, maybe you put $1 in the pokies and, you know, you get some money back. That can be, you know, the more positive side of things with getting money through that 5th house as well sometimes. Again, if it's negatively aspected, you know, based on your natal planets and your natal chart, you can lose money through those things. And that's why I always urge people to be very, very cautious, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to do anything or to do anything. You have free will, you have free choice. Everybody knows the risks of their behaviors, and you know, I'm just kind of stating the facts of the house and games and risk taking and fun that does technically fall into that house. So please do everything mindfully and cautiously and careful and be aware of it. But you know, it can be a good transit for making money. It can also be a risky one for losing money. It just depends on your chart, but those things can happen with Venus transiting through that house for you. And then on the 23rd, it'll move into your Gemini 6th house. So this is just when you're going to be loving and finding a lot of pleasure in regards to your day-to-day routine, your health, your fitness. You might just be having pleasant conversations and relationships with your co-workers, or just at work with the duties and tasks you're doing. You might be just really enjoying them. Again, I'm not saying this is happening, but it can be one possibility. But sometimes with Venus in the 6th house, there can be a romance starting at work, or a lot of pleasure at work where you're just really enjoying time with your co-workers. This can be in a friendship way or romantic. You're just enjoying, with Venus going through there, you're just enjoying your routine and work basically. In regards to the health and fitness, if it's more related to health and fitness, it can also obviously mean that you're really just enjoying your workout routines, you're enjoying the gym, you're enjoying the results you're getting from working out. So maybe your body or your appearance or your style is changing because of the results. And sometimes if it's to do with health, like you've got to think about Venus in regards to food, especially sweets, and you know, do a little bit of research into medical astrology as well. You know, sometimes with Venus going through there, you know, there can be problems with overeating, things like diabetes, or you know, anything really related to kind of like food and sweets and sugar and all those kind of things, because Venus does rule over those kind of topics. So definitely, you know, something to keep an eye on. It really depends on your chart though. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just giving you guys kind of the facts and how this can all play out. So, you know, Venus can go either way. It really depends on your chart and what's happening. Then we've got Mars, planet of action, passion, war, aggression is what we're fighting for and fighting with. That starts off in your Aries 4th house. So it's going to be there all the way through June. So 4th house is your home, family, your ancestry, your lineage. So with Mars being there, it's just showing that you're putting a lot of attention and focus and action into that 4th house. So, you know, for some people, this transit can play out in the way that you're spending more time and focus around fixing up things around your house. So if there's any of those, you know, DIY projects that you haven't quite finished off, or things that need to get done, you might be doing that. Or if you've been neglecting the housework a little bit because you've been so busy, you might put a bit more attention into your home and cleaning up and fixing things, like your physical home that you live in. Maybe for some people, they're taking action on, you know, buying new furniture, moving furniture around, just more fixing up things or finishing off things. It can also mean that you're focusing more on your family as such, like your family members. So, you know, whether it depends on the age you are and your stages in life, but if you've got, you know, a marriage partner and children, you might be focusing on spending more time with them and making them a priority and finding a lot of time for them, because maybe you've been too busy, or you've been working too much, or you know, you haven't had, you know, quality time with your family. For some people it might mean, you know, spending more time with mum, dad, siblings. For other people it might be visiting mum and dad that are really old and in a nursing home. For other people it might be a big, you know, family gathering or something that they're trying to organize and sort out. But again, just remembering that obviously Mars is like passion, it's your action, it's what's motivating you. So all of those things can kind of pop up in regards to your home or your family members. You know, maybe you've got a bit of passion to research your ancestry, lineage, where you come from, or family trees, those sorts of things. Final thing I would like to say around this as well is that obviously Mars can be conflict, aggression, arguments. So sometimes that can pop up with families. You know, there might be a disagreement, an argument, conflict, depends on your natal chart. And just remember, obviously the stars reflect as above, so below, but we have free will. If we know our natal chart and we know these transits that are happening and aspects that are happening, we can look at that and we know that there's going to be tension and stuff there, but we don't have to act out on it. We can choose to look into the more harmonious aspects that are happening, like the trines and sextiles. We can choose to know that that energy is there and it's going to be hard and difficult. Why don't I find some positive solutions or a healthy way to cope with that? Or why don't I put my attention and focus into more of the positive aspects and positive planets rather than, you know, going into that heavier stuff if we know that those energies are going to be a little bit more challenging. So although I'm saying Mars can cause conflict and, you know, disagreements, sometimes, you know, we can try to like have control as such, or we can try and, you know, work with the energies in a better way once we kind of understand it a bit more. So it's not all worst case scenario. And, you know, if a family member says something really rude to you or kind of is really hurtful, I mean, we can set boundaries with them. We can try to talk to them and rationalize with them. We can, you know, apologize. If we're the ones that are hurting someone and upsetting someone, we can apologize and be self-aware. So all those things can come up, or we can choose to argue with them and we can choose to have a big family blowout conflict. Like, you have free will, but I mean, it's up to you what you want to do with it and how you want to approach it. But that's enough about Mars and that fourth house. Let's now have a chat about the new moon and full moon that we've got as well. So technically the new moon is May 30th for the June kind of transits, but it does depend on your location and time zone, so definitely readjust and change them depending on where you're located. I'm using Sydney, Australia and Eastern Standard Time because I'm from Australia. So the new moon would have happened on May 30th for us in your Gemini 6th house at 9:30 p.m. So new moons are all about beginnings. So new moons are all about beginnings and new cycles commencing, typically over the next 3 months. So when this is happening in your 6th house, this is about, again, like we spoke about before, it's your co-workers, pets, health, fitness, it's your routine. It's the day-to-day work you do at work, so the duties and tasks, housework, all of those sorts of things. So, you know, there might be some new changes around the routine and your daily routine and how you do things. There might be changes for your health and fitness. There might be changes at work with the duties and tasks that you do. Some new beginnings, some new changes there. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And then we have a full moon on June 14th in your Sagittarius 12th house at 9:51 p.m. So full moons are endings and cycles being completed. You'll notice these events and topics happening over the next like 3, sometimes 6 months, but you'll notice that there'll be some endings in regards to those 12th house topics. So the 12th house is a bit of a harder house to kind of understand because it is the house of transcendence. It rules over institutions, so things like prisons, hospitals, mental health wards, anything where you're kind of, I guess, restricted or being kind of locked away. The 12th house rules over as well things like hidden enemies, and it can rule over things like mental health, spirituality. It can rule over things like isolation and withdrawal. So like just wanting to be away from people. This isn't always a bad thing though. Like sometimes you go on a retreat where you kind of want to be by yourself, or you go camping by yourself out in nature where you just withdraw away from people. So these things aren't necessarily a bad thing, but the 12th house is a little bit harder because it's a house that usually the native, which is the natal person, which would be like, you know, yourself watching this, you're the native. It's a very foreign house to them. It's a house that we can't see or you can't see. So sometimes these topics are a bit, I guess, a bit more challenging because it's, yeah, like a little bit hidden from us as such. It's also the house of dreams and sleep. So for some people, their sleep routine might be interrupted with this. Could be improved or it could be getting worse. You know, vivid dreams and stuff like that, you know, linking to spirituality, your connection there can kind of improve. You might be feeling like you need more time alone. in nature or just alone, just with yourself really. So again, having that full moon in that 12th house is going to bring some endings around some of those topics. And if you check out when the last Sagittarius new moon was, that would have started some of these topics off, and this full moon's bringing them to a completion. I believe the last new moon in Sagittarius was about December, so about 6 months ago. But yeah, that'll give you more information about what endings are coming up for you in regards to that 12th house. But I assume for a lot of people, maybe it's just like, if you've been working behind the scenes a lot, or been withdrawing quite a lot, or feeling a bit mentally drained and a bit down, you know, over the next, you know, 3 to 6 months, those things can start to improve and be finished off. That cycle can be coming to an end and completing. But definitely, if you like this video and found it helpful, give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.